Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Jim Grisanzio from the Oracle Groundbreakers team, and I'm here for another conversation in support of the Oracle Groundbreakers India Yatra, which is taking place right now and will run through mid next week. It's been going on for 3 weeks. And so I'm here tonight with Rafael Benevides. Rafael is a cloud native developer advocate at Oracle in Brazil. Rafael, welcome. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Jim. How are you? It's really an honor to be here with you and with you all who are watching this recording.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've seen your name a lot since I've been on this team, and I must have seen you. We must have crossed, paths at conferences at one point or another, but we haven't actually met. And that's the whole point here, because I said this in every interview, I've specifically reached out to speakers on this tour that I've never interviewed before. Now, I have known a couple of people before, but I've never interviewed them. But in your case, I've never even met you. So happy to always make new friends. Um, so
Exactly. By the way, it's the same feeling that I have to meet new friends. And as I said, it's an honor meeting you.
cool. Thank you. So to get me started, since we never met, I took some notes on your bio, but let's hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? All that stuff. Just a few minutes to kick us off.
Okay, as you said, currently in a position as a cloud native development advocate for Oracle here in Brazil. And what I do is to help companies, developers, individuals to adopt cloud native technologies. I'm in an Oracle Linux team, and Oracle Linux team nowadays is a platform for cloud native applications. So I help those corporations, those individuals, those developers to adopt Oracle Linux and use Oracle Linux technologies so they can use their cloud native applications on Oracle Linux.
Okay, cool. I didn't actually see that in the bio with the Linux bit. I'm really glad about that because we haven't discussed anything about Linux here yet in these interviews, um, and so that's really cool. Okay, so but you're also a Java guy. So you're a Linux guy, you're a cloud guy, and you're a Java guy. So this actually brings up another point that I've been bringing up: is developers have a lot of diverse skills these days, don't they?
Exactly, especially those who are working in the IT industry for probably more than 15 years
Yeah.
or 20 years in my case. So over the years, they accumulate those skills, and those skills are never, they're never lost. They still under your pocket for when you need it. Basically, it's what happened to me.
Right. Okay. Quick question on your title there, cloud native developer. What's the native bit?
Well, the point is, of course, there are several discussions on the internet on what is a cloud native technology, or cloud native application, a cloud native environment. So what's the point about cloud native? Well, what I usually do to explain for customers and for people in general on what is a cloud native is the kind of application that when it was conceived, when it was developed, it was from the beginning uh, having the cloud in their minds. And
Okay.
by the cloud, it's not only the public cloud, but you can think about a private cloud running on premises, but anything that's not that can be scaled horizontally, that can run on multiple hosts, on multiple computers, multiple servers. So the application needs to be prepared for that because it will involve remote communication, that will involve the possibility of a remote server not be available. So the cloud native application started having those. issues, all those characteristics in mind.
Okay. So it's not a port or a migration, so it's a rewrite. It's writing from scratch.
Exactly, Jim.
Okay.
You
All right.
got the point.
Cool. Okay. So there is hope for me. Okay. Now, you're doing a talk next week, and I see here it's MicroProfile APIs in Helidon. So let's just flush that out a little bit. What's the talk about?
Yeah, well, so let's start first. What is microprofile? Microprofile, first of all, it's a specification. So what's the benefit for developers or for organizations to adopt a specification? Is that they can choose the vendor. They will not face the lock-in problem. So, for example, if they choose any framework that does not follow a specification, they will be tied to the organization or community that created that framework. That framework can go away, and they can lose these corporations that adopted a framework that didn't come from a specification. They can lose their investment. So the point is, MicroProfile is a specification. So there are several companies that are helping to build this specification, and by being in a specification, many vendors can implement, many vendors can give support. They can choose the best vendor to support them. And the Helidon is an Helidon project is the implementation from Oracle to this MicroProfile specification.
So spec and implementation. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
So what does Helidon actually do?
Well, not only it follows the MicroProfile specification, but it also has some extensions because, of course, the MicroProfile specification is evolving, but at this moment, it doesn't solve at all. I don't believe in a silver bullet technology or a silver bullet product. So, given that MicroProfile does not cover all the needs, the Helidon comes with certain extensions. I will mention two, for example. The MicroProfile specification does not cover any specification to store data in a database. And Helidon brings the JPA specification. So again, we are following a specification here, so it can extend MicroProfile. It brings also JTA, which is a Java transaction implementation for Java. So Helidon also uses JTA as an extension, so it can give the MicroProfile specification an opportunity to also have database connection, transactions at all.
Okay, cool. And Helidon is open source as well, right?
Exactly, it's an open source project.
Source project.
We are all, as Java developers, we can go there, and usually I do that a lot, so we can not only report issues, request new features, but also we can submit a pull request with those improvements or fixes, which is nice, something really good about all the open source way of doing things.
Right. Now, I'm not familiar with the details. I haven't spoken with anybody in the Helidon project for quite a while, I guess about half a year or so. But I understand it's a fairly active community. It's a fairly active project at this point. I mean, in terms of its open source nature, in other words, you're taking, contributions from the community, and there's activity. It's not just code over the wall, but there's an actual community there.
Exactly. For example, we are in July, so in June we had the release of Helidon 2.0.
I saw that.
And it was really nice because now Helidon has the support of the Growl VM. So we can see how the Helidon project is moving fast and in a way that it's always getting new features and new capabilities.
Right. And Graal is also a thriving open source project. Um, Graal gets a lot of attention at Oracle because
Yeah,
it
and now
comes
they
from
work
the,
together.
yeah, interesting, interesting. That's really good. Okay, cool. It's most of the people I've been talking to at this conference have been database people, um, talking and lots of database people. I've spoken to one other Java engineer. Um, but how did you come across this conference with this particular talk?
Um, in what sense?
Well, I mean, in other words, it seems to be it's a different type of talk than the majority of the speakers are talking about. They're focusing mostly on Oracle database issues.
I see. I got the point. Well, first of all, I saw that they are also accepting talks related to development,
Hmm.
just like Oracle Code and other related events. So when I saw that, I became, of course, very excited, and I started to submit all the talks that I have related to development. Because
Okay.
as I mentioned earlier, my background is totally focused on development, especially Java development. And I was really happy when I received the notification that my talk was accepted. And there he goes. Next week, I'll talk about my microprofile with Helidon.
Cool. So the reason I ask is because I've noticed with this particular community over the last couple of years, few years, that it's changing. It's becoming more development oriented as the technology changes, as the community of people, as they change, as they grow, as they mature, and as new people come in. Um, Certainly as database is the focus, but it's not just administration issues now. There's more database developers actually coming into the community, actually application developers. So just more developers in general is the trend, and I specifically asked this question to the community members in India, and they all confirm it. Everyone says it's true. So this type of a talk here, and just your presence as a developer, Java developer, and Linux, and I'm sure it's going to be most welcome.
Oh, nice. Thank you. And of course, when we think about Oracle some years ago, we tend to think as a database company. Of course, the Oracle database is the major product of Oracle, but Oracle is not only about database. We have the history of the WebLogic uh, application server. So Oracle is giving all the attention to developers.
Yeah.
And it also comes with the fact that given that the application, all the applications worldwide are being modernized, we don't only rely on database logic to implement a cloud native application as an example. We need developers with different skills, developers with a background, with a back-end skill, developers with a front-end skill, mobile, and so on. That's why the developers are getting so much attraction nowadays. And that's
Yeah.
good that Oracle is providing all those support.
Yeah, I've noticed the change, especially with with the cloud implementations, and with some of these higher profile open source projects as well, like Graal, and Linux. Linux, Oracle Linux is gets very, very substantial contributions from the Linux community, and this is a huge installed base. But Oracle's pretty quiet about it, in terms of promoting that. And so, but when you talk to the engineers, they're heavily embedded into the Linux, kernel community. It's not just sort of an ancillary, product. It's core. It definitely is core. So let's talk about the community here for a little bit. You're obviously contributing to open source projects. You're involved with cloud and Java as well. Um, ha, you know, you seem obviously to come from the community. What's your experiences with, with the community, with the development community?
Well, to give you the context, as you said, I came from the community, so I'm very grateful because it was with the communities that I joined in the past that I was able to learn and achieve experience and share experience from other more graduated developers that worked on enterprise projects, and I was able to learn with them, and I saw the power of the community. And you might ask, what kind of power is that everyone talks about? Well, first of all, when you share, for example, I learned with the community, and then I got in a point that I had my own experience that I could share and provide a feedback to the community and help new developers, help individuals and companies and corporations that are now giving a step toward new technology that I was able to work with or get experience with. And for some kind of mystery, every help that I give to people, somehow in the future, they will help me some way or another. It's a kind of mystery, it's a kind of secret sauce, but it helps a lot. So I'm really grateful, and I always that I can, I try to share my knowledge, my experience, promote other developers, encourage them to share, and that's something that I really like to do.
It's yeah, it is a secret sauce. I mean, but it's also written about in every single religion, and all philosophers talk about these concepts too, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a part of human nature. However, not all fields are community based. I mean, software developers form communities. Um, to one degree or another. I mean, there's a lot of collaboration. Um, you write some code and you just don't go stick it in the gate and ship it out the door. There are code reviews. There's all kinds of ways that software developers collaborate with each other, and not all fields have that. And I've worked in multiple fields, and I've worked in this field, and it's striking to me that the vast majority of people that you talk to express things just like you expressed. And you express it like it's perfectly normal, but it's not normal for the vast majority of fields out there.
Which seems to be like a surprise because when you were talking, what came to my mind was no one can write big software, large software alone. And one of the things that we learn in a software engineer, in software engineering in general, is that we need to create modules that will communicate with each other to build something larger, just like building blocks. So it's part of the nature to build something that will be reused by another by another developer, and probably they will give you a feedback that will help your module to become better and more resilient and so on. So it's part of the nature of the software development. So probably those developers, they start in their job thinking about being collaborative, so they can build something better and larger and more resilient and more secure and so on. So yeah, but it's a shame that's not something common for all areas.
Yeah, it's striking. Because I've not only worked in one place, I've sort of bounced around over the years, and when I find myself in an environment where collaboration is not the common denominator, it's like how do you work alone? I mean, you're on a team, but you all have individuals that do your own thing, and so I find it bizarre. That's why I like talking to you guys, because um, people like you are doing this work that is very very advanced, and you sort of give me some confidence that this ethic will continue. This ethic of collaboration, sharing, distributed development. You're in Brazil. You work with engineers all over the world, and in a distributed way, right? So gives me a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, probably that's something good when we give a testimonial about what worked for us and how is that good for us as developers. Probably people from other areas they can see and start thinking, why don't we just follow the idea of building blocks that will lead to building communities that will
Right.
lead to build relationship between people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good advice. Good advice. Okay, Rafael, MicroProfile APIs with Helidon next Wednesday at the OGYatra. All right.
Right. And
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
waiting for everyone to join this event.
Cool. Cool. Well, I'm glad we got to have a conversation beforehand. So hopefully this video will help to drive some people your way. So Rafael, it's been a great pleasure talking to you, and hopefully in the very near future, maybe next year, we'll be able to meet up at a conference, real life, not behind a screen, and say hello.
I hope for that as well.
Cool. Thank you very much. Good luck with your talk.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye bye.
See you later. Bye bye.